I want to revisit something that I asked you gentlemen a few weeks ago. Do you think that there are racist undertones with the word shock jock?
I still don't.
Yeah, I don't either. Because again, my first time hearing shock, and I'm probably the oldest person in the room.
No, probably about it. Joker.
Nah,
What them jokers did.
my first time hearing shock jock, it was describing white DJs.
Okay. It was Howard Stern.
Howard Stern.
Imus.
Howard Stern.
No, Imus, Howard Stern. You know what I mean?
Imus is another great example.
Mm-hmm.
What's that other dude that was another great example, had the show and just targeted all the rappers, targeted that camera? Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah. Like them. So
It wasn't
I don't.
shock though. They didn't.
Joe's shock jock was
Limbaugh would also be a
Rush
shock
Limbaugh.
jock, yeah.
Like Joe's definition or his depiction of the word shock jock weeks ago was that it was describing black DJs.
No. I
did
never
say
said
that.
I never said that.
That is exactly what you said.
I've never said such a thing. And if you took that from me, then let me clarify what my point was.
Because that's what we
I
all
took it-
Because
I
all
took
of those
it- I took
gentlemen
it
are
as-
shock jocks.
I took it not as necessarily the term itself, but how it's used that you had the issue with.
Yeah.
Yes.
You said it was describing us, black people.
No, I said it's used to only penalize us. That didn't mean that there were no white shock jocks. That would be foolish.
Because that's what we all argued. We all argued. No.
Okay, so
it
then
wasn't
let me.
describing
So
us.
then let's
Yeah.
let's
Gotcha.
clarify.
I haven't heard it used against
I
black.
asked this.
Yeah. Joe and Charlamagne.
Looking at all of this Rogan shit. That's why I asked this.
Got you.
As I sit home and just watch clips and read shit and observe what's going on every single day, because every day something new pops up with this. As I read the Daniel Ek response, and if you haven't heard it, I'll read it for you, which I told y'all a week ago, they're not backing off of Joe Rogan.
Ever.
They got too much money invested.
And they're gonna keep investing.
And it
more.
brings
It's
bringing too much
He's a cash
money
cow.
in.
And not for nothing, they probably even like all this publicity, even if it's negative.
He's a cash cow.
They love it.
Yeah.
But you watch this stuff and you think, what happens if I come on here and say the wrong thing? What happens when Whoopi Goldberg, the furthest thing from a shock jock, gets on air and says the wrong thing? What happens when Kevin Hart, a comedian, not a shock jock, says the wrong thing?
In comedy.
In comedy.
He's a comedian.
My argument was the term shock jock is only used to penalize black people. For white people, it uplifts them.
It's a term of endearment. It's a boys will be boys kind
And
of
I
thing.
stand
see
by
what
that.
you're saying.
Y'all can't come in here and say certain shit.
I agree. No, my thing, my take on all of this and watching all week is it's crazy how when a powerful white person says some shit, now your First Amendment rights come into play. Right? Censorship is bad. It is. I agree. I think it's levels to it. I think it's degrees to what you can say, what you shouldn't be able to say.
This also isn't a First Amendment thing, by the way.
I mean, it's his freedom of speech.
This is not the government censoring his freedom of speech. This is a corporation censoring his freedom of
This
speech.
is true. You are correct. But people start talking about censorship and freedoms of speech, et cetera, in their defense. When somebody says something about the wrong minority, all of those same arguments go out the fucking window. All of them go out the window. When you start saying something about certain groups of people, it goes out the window. That same argument will be used in reverse for the people supporting him. And I don't know him. I don't know if he's a racist. He might not be a racist. He's powerful and he's smart enough. I've seen him. He's smart. He knows what to say and what not to say. The same way Ice and I have been up here for 9 or 10 months. We have learned what to say and what not to say. He's been doing this shit for 12 years.
Right.
He knows what to say and what not to say.
But the thing about it is, and let's stay there for a minute, because I see some people trying to respond with, "Oh, he's not a racist. He's not a racist. He's not a racist."
Cool.
Who called him a racist? Let's start there.
That's true.
This conversation was never based on Joe Rogan being a racist. So if that word just pops in your head, then it pops in your head from what the conversation is based on, which is, well, this is what you said. I tried to skip this last week.
You did.
You got into it. I tried to skip
You
it.
did.
Cause dog, 5 years ago I came in here and said, as just somebody observing the podcast scene, and he's obviously the biggest broadcaster in the world. Hey, does anybody know that he said such and such and such and such and such? My fan base says shut the fuck up at the time. Other people said shut the fuck up. Black people.
No, a lot of black people. People that we are friends with or associates with are saying, yo, y'all need to shut the fuck up. Y'all preaching the wrong narrative about this person, which is possibly true. I'm not saying he's a racist. That's hard to throw on somebody. What I can say is he's smart enough to know when he's saying some shit. And some of that shit that he said, specifically the one where it was a biracial person, and he said out of his own mouth, nobody's paraphrasing, you have the best of both worlds.
Right.
You have the black body physically and you have the white brain. My nigga, what are you saying? What are you saying? How could that be misconstrued? How could that be misinterpreted?
Yeah, that was my only problem when I started saying, "Oh,
Come
this
on,
is being taken
fam.
out
Like,
of context."
come on. I don't give a fuck about him being racist. That's wrong to say.
Yeah.
Period. It's no defending that.
No.
This ain't about no vaccine shit. This is about what he said out of his own mouth.
See, and he's entitled to feel that way.
Yes, he is.
And I'm entitled to stay far the fuck away from people that feel that way.
True.
Yeah.
But I'm not about to have a conversation with strangers debating my moral compass.
Or justifying that.
Yeah. See, that's the thing about free will and just freedom. There's something out there for all of y'all. Y'all that let y'all white friends say nigga, 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 nigga. It's a whole clique of y'all. Ball out. Those of y'all that's into some other things, like you could go find your group. We ain't got to keep mixing groups. Like as I age, I'm with Titan in my circle.
Bro, the same exact people that are defending him, we all know it's derogatory words for every ethnicity. Right? We all know them.
Yeah.
If we came in here and said the derogatory words about certain groups, you fuck around and be canceled. You would fuck around and be canceled. So that's my thing. Like the same people, it got to be uniformity across the board. I said this before. Every time we bring up these issues, it has to be uniformity. You can't be allowed to say nigga, 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 and he's excused. But if one of us said a word describing Asians or Jews or somebody else, there would be no room for that.
There wouldn't.
There's no fine line for that. And that's my thing. If somebody came in here and said something derogatory about homosexual people, there's no fine line for that. So I think the same standard needs to be held when somebody of a different ethnicity is saying nigga, nigga, nigga.
Agreed.
Fam, he said,
I agree with you.
Yo, I thought I was at Planet of the Apes when we walked in. Please tell him. Defend that.
Yeah, how's that out of context?
Defend that. That's not a contextual thing.
Right.
He said it. So again, he might not be racist. He could be making jokes. Fam, I date white women in my life. So I can make white jokes. I say it, but I won't say it on this platform. I might say it behind closed doors. I might crack on my girl. I might say something to Parks about being white and laugh and joke. I know when come on, like, stop. The people are defending it is what I'm saying. It's wrong. Say it's wrong. No, you got to say it's wrong. You have to say, yo, you my man. You my man, Joe. It's wrong what you said. And we can move forward. That's my thing.
Well, he apologized. He apologized. See, that's the thing. Every day I wake up, there's been something new with this. He apologized. Then Daniel Ek came out and apologized to his staff. Yo, pull up the whole shit. I want to read exactly what he said. Do y'all know how deep that is?
It's getting hot in the kitchen.
That's all it is.
It's my kitchen, though. I own this whole shit. It's my kitchen. The kitchen could get hot. I am starting this public address with an apology to my staff. Spotify team, there are no words I can say to adequately convey how deeply sorry I am for the way the Joe Rogan Experience controversy continues to impact each of you. That's very deep to me. That tells me it's chaos back there.
Could be. Ain't no could be in it.
Not a could be about it. Not only are some of Joe Rogan's comments incredibly hurtful, I want to make clear that they do not represent the values of this company. I know this situation leaves many of you feeling drained, frustrated, and unheard. Well, that's just the thing, Daniel Eck. Some could argue that they do represent the values of your company. See, I don't need the public address. I don't need the publicist shenanigans and the wordy games. NDRE's point still stands. Y'all ain't paid musicians. Mm-hmm. Fuck Rogan. Y'all ain't paid musicians. It's an independent point that hopefully one day will be addressed, or hopefully a fucking class action suit will be formed. But that's a song for another studio session.
I think it's important.
No, it gets deeper than that though. Because now we get into, and another reason I don't ever address this stuff is because not only is it triggering for me, but everyone speaks from their point of interest. Like I see a lot of people that are defending this behavior and they're invested differently. They don't seem to be speaking from a place of integrity, so I don't address it. But back to my shock jock point, which I would be considered as the second exclusive podcast there in a 2-year situation. We didn't say a thing that would get us canceled.
True.
It's the opposite. See, this story goes deep. We didn't say shit. We only performed. Know what happened at the end? Get the fuck out. Here's a 0.00001% percentage of whatever I think this is worth. No, nigga, I'm a man. But then what you watch, you wait for the other black podcaster to get that bag. You wait for it. You know what I saw? I saw the 2 gay dudes get the podcast. Where'd it go? You never heard of peep. They just announced it. I never heard. Where'd it go? Cool. Who else? The
girl.
Will Smith.
Michelle and Barack.
Michelle Obama. Barack Obama. That's where some of the anger comes in. But you got to put that to the side because work harder. But these are the black people that you have to be to get anywhere near worth from your company. That speaks to the value of your company. That represents the values of your company. What the fuck are we reading here? Let's go further. Rogan gets $100 million, probably underpaid.
Sure.
Call Her Daddy started in 2018 and 3 years later got $60 million.
For only a couple years, right? Fairly short contract.
Yeah.
They got a 3-year deal, right?
3-year, $20 million apiece.
$20 million pop.
$60 million. I know star tight ends that won't get it and don't get it. Just to put in place for you the pay scale out here. And that's not hate. I hope that don't sound like hate.
That's just looking at what's going on out
It's
there.
perspective and observation.
Yeah.
I don't convince people, or I don't allow people to convince me of what their values are. Because I think I've been around long enough to tell sometimes. It's not in what you say. It's in how you treat people. All across the board. That's not just for Daniel Eck and Joe Rogan. That's for fucking, you could be on a date, I'm watching how you talking to the waiter or the waitress. How you talking to the cleaning staff. How do you view and treat people? How will you go about it when the shoe is on your foot? He goes on here, but I don't think any of it really matters. Because they're going to do what they've been doing, which is putting out their podcast. They done had people go on fucking the talk shows to address this. Rogan has addressed it. They handling this in a way that, and he ain't even look like himself. They handling this in a way that look nervous. Mm-hmm. Super profitable. But something's nervous about it.
I think that the slippery slope is if the black artists were to follow India Arie's lead.
Yeah.
Money starts to move around then. You get what I'm saying? Like, again, let's say all the black artists. Hip hop, R&B, all genres of music say, yo, I don't like how y'all really supporting them. I'm going to pull my shit. That's an issue. You got to step in front of that.
That's what I'm
10
saying.
artists, 5 artists, But when you start getting a snowball coming downhill, you gotta kind of step in front of that to stop that from potentially happening. So I think that
this is gaining traction.
The motivating factor behind this.
Yeah, they know this is gaining traction. They trying to fan the flames now before this shit becomes inferno.
I only address this because I seen people out there like, oh, I can't wait to hear what Joe saying. I'm like, y'all have heard Joe on this plenty of times.
Power's a monster, dog. Because again, from what you read, and people have come up to support him. Mm-hmm. He may not be racist. I just think he might.
Cares
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I just think his power level is like, yo, I can say what the fuck I want because I'm powerful and I can get along with it. Trump can say what the fuck he want. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump had a platform where he felt as though he could say anything out of his mouth with absolutely zero recourse. Mm-hmm. And that's what I think that happens when you start getting a certain amount of money and a certain amount of power that you just feel untouchable. And I think that's what this is. My personal opinion. I think that's what this is.
I agree.
Parks.
I agree. I mean, I think part of it, too, is that he considers himself a comedian because he came from a comedic background. So he feels like he can get away with saying certain shit.
They snatched the Grammys from Kevin Hart.
Whoopi Goldberg's a comedian.
I know.
Whoopi Goldberg's a comedian.
I'm not saying that.
One of the greatest to ever live.
I'm not recusing his.
It's back to my shock jock point. My shock jock point stands is all. Like I don't have anything to say about this.
You get what I'm saying? And what Whoopi Goldberg said, in my opinion, it's not even 1,000th.
Not even close.
Like they not even in the same. She got suspended for 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. It's fucking Whoopi Goldberg, bro.
Right.
She's iconic.
Yeah. And didn't say anything particularly
and did not say anything
or offensive.
Yep. And there you have it.
This is a company trying to walk the line, bro. He's worth too much, so we can't fuck that up. And then the people he's pissed off, if they all band together, will hurt us in a way. So we trying to appease all sides.
He got 100 a year, right?
For 3 years.
I don't think we know specifically what the details of his contract was. Never know the specifics
of it.
I thought he got 100 a year.
Probably 100 a year.
Yeah, so I thought.
I think that's what was reported.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But so we can't lose it. He's worth way more than 100. He's worth more than 100 a year. Yeah. His value is higher than that.
Yeah.
But I'm almost positive that he got more than 100 a year.
But when you start adding up the exponential losses that you would take if all black artists started to jump on that wagon, they're going to lose more than 100
people who support.
When you start saying artists. The Jay-Z's, the Rihanna's, the Drakes, you know what I'm saying? Like Luther Vandross, Whitney Houston, all them motherfuckers start pulling their shit. Now you talking a different type of turkey. So I think they jumped in front of a potential avalanche.
We will see. We will see. I won't talk much about it, but we will see. Because he's got probably another year and a half left in that deal.
Yeah, I think that's where he's at. It's a 3-year deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he's getting offers from all types of right-wing
I saw that too.
Places, yeah.
They said, we'll give you 100 to bring everything over here, even the episodes you took down. We'll put them up here. Like, even look at that.
It's nasty.
Shock jock. I hate that I'm triggered by that shock jock thing. I don't like it. Because I got to design contracts with language to protect against shock jock rules. Because black people get fired. No compensation. Kick rocks.
Sure. Yeah, it's over.
When you say something that they just throw under that shock jock term. Because they got terms and clauses for it.
And white folks are allowed to be accidentally racist. I don't know if he's a racist or not, but the things that he said are racist.
White people are allowed to say things that other people are not allowed to say. I'm not calling anybody a racist. But you could say something and not hate somebody.
Sure.
Right? Like I could say something here
True.
and totally not hate a group that I'm offending. But that part wouldn't matter. Right. That part, that's the part that wouldn't matter.
Intent don't matter. It's just the act.
So I mean, I understand it. I'm not speaking down on nobody. I hear a lot of that too. Yo, Joe, with your checkered past, it's like, yo, dog, I'm starting to get offended in that too. Like I'm starting to, like, enough now. Because even that, like when the police pull you over, they have a record of shit that didn't stick.
That's true.
That they looking at. Nah, fam, don't play with me. Don't play with me. I'm tired of these little blog sites writing about me too. I am. I say shit on it. That's why I don't tweet. That's why I don't do shit no more. I say shit and they make their headline out of what I said. Because I'm media. Suck my dick. I hate it. They piss me off with that. They do.